David, just what are your emotions as the season comes to an end?
Crush for the guys in there. Just the effort they gave to get to this position, have the opportunity today, and then to have the start that we wanted, and then for it to go sideways so quickly. I mean, I thought we controlled the pace of the game early. It's easy to forget that now. But to be up 21-10, it felt like we just could not push that thing out. That felt like the score for 4 minutes. And that was our opportunity to really take control of the game. Once they got back into it, they kept bringing new people in, and they did overwhelm us. The turnovers were a huge issue in this game, obviously. And sometimes turnovers the number doesn't matter, but 16 steals, that's live ball turnovers. That's dunks. That's 37 points off your mistakes. So you're not going to win a playoff game like that. So I give them a lot of credit. They were the aggressor. That's how the whole series has been. Early, I thought we were, and we had control of the game, and then we lost it very quickly. Yeah, man, when you lose, it's crushing. And it's the last time you'll be in the room with those guys, and it's beyond that, you only get one of these. This is the one moment we had together to make this run. And they're all individual to themselves, and they're also special. Anybody that's played sports understands that. So walking out of that locker room is, it's crushing, and it's going to take a while to get over that.
Coach, 3 of your 5 starters were dealing with something in the last 48 hours. Was that too much to overcome? And also, how close was Aaron not going to be able to play today?
Aaron Gordon is incredible. What he played with today, I don't know many people that would even attempt to go out there and run up and down. And he did it in a Game 7 against Oklahoma City on the road. That was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. So, yes, he was extremely close to not playing. I was surprised, that they said, no, he's a go, he's going to start. I knew there was a chance, but in the back of your mind, you're kind of planning, I don't think he's going to have it. Guy had 8 rebounds at the half. He almost had a double-double going up and down in that kind of pain. Shot the ball. The 1-3 in front of our bench looked so comfortable. Like it's just a testament to his toughness. I can't sit here and say, because we're beat up and this guy's sick that we lost. We got beat. And if we were that tired late, we certainly weren't tired early. So we had an opportunity to take control of that game, and we missed that opportunity at the end of the first quarter. And that run, to start the second, obviously at the end of the half, really put us in a tough spot.
Coach, you guys, kind of, at the end of your talk, in the locker room, just kind of dapping each other up. And, was that just out of respect of the run that you guys made? And can you put into words, kind of what you guys went through from, the house cleaning towards the end of the regular season up until this point?
Yeah, man, I think it's, groups, in team sports, you can fracture very quickly because there's a lot of different personalities in that room. And even though it's a team sport, there's individuals in that room too. And for them to take a look at each other and say, no, we have enough in here and we can galvanize this and we can make it work was incredible. And I told them in there, it's about the man next to you. That's what you do this for. You do it for the guy next to you because you want the opportunity to be a team thing. And these guys did it. And, I'll go back and kick myself. Game 4 and 5 of the series, those are just as crushing as tonight because we had legitimate opportunities to completely control the series, but we just didn't follow through with that. But yeah, it's a testament to the people in there. It really is. It's not about one person. It's about the whole group staying together, believing that they could make something happen through injuries, up and downs, new faces, new people, new jobs, delegation, all the narrative, all that stuff. It wasn't about that. It was about the people in that room all the way up to the end of this game. So extremely proud of that group.
Coach, recognizing the timing stinks, but not knowing when to see you again, how much do you want to be the one to continue coaching this team moving forward?
I don't think it's time for me to think about that. We just lost Game 7. Our season's over. Decision makers will make that decision. Obviously, blessed to have this opportunity to take the helm and lead this team. Something, obviously, if I'm not back next year, I'll obviously never forget this. It's been an incredible experience. And to have the buy-in from the guys was really special for me. And, what we did at the end of the season, like I've brought this up a few times, but everyone's going to remember these Game 7s and the playoff series and all that. I'm going to remember the last 3 games of the season because we showed up in Sacramento in a must-win. We did it. We did it with Memphis on a Friday night. We did it in Houston. 3 teams that were, vying for positions. So those were big-time games. For the guys that quickly to come together and give us this opportunity, very special to me. I'll never forget it. Something I think down the road when I'm older, this group will always remember this. It was about us in that room, like I said.
David, before the series, you kind of joked about OKC being a 72-win team at that moment. Regular season gap was 18 wins, but you guys had split with them going into this game in total. How close do you feel like you guys are to being at that sort of championship level with a team like this that won as many games as they did?
Yeah, I think, through the next season, whether I'm here or somebody else is, it's just about getting to the finish line healthier and not having to grind like we did through the Clippers series. And that's going to be a challenge. As these guys get older year by year, we have to maintenance them. And if you're going to play a young team like that has, unbelievable depth, very good coaching staff. Obviously, Mark does a great job. You have to have the freshest version of yourself. And that's part of the reason why I am so proud of these guys to get this to 7. We grinded through this. The Clippers series is the same way. Grind long enough to give yourself an opportunity. And today was the same thing. It went the exact opposite way as the Clipper game. But you can't win these games unless you get to them. So if we're going to get there, we're going to need people to improve, people coming back. We have to improve our depth. How do you do that? Well, I think you have to have player development this summer. We have to see guys take strides. And if they do that and we can find a longer rotation, I think it makes you better when you get to these moments, in April, May, hopefully June.
Coach, you talk about obviously this being one of the historic teams, of all time with their record and defensively how they present themselves. How would you say, when you assess this after 7-game series, just how, the team itself is put together, and how would you say that, from start to bottom of the lineup, how do they assess and, create a lot of, issues for you guys?
Yeah, it's a relentless defensive team. They seem like they're always fresh because they can rotate people in and out. Presents challenges. They can play small. They can play big. They can go any way they want to with their roster. And it makes it hard. And I actually thought our guys did a great job of kind of reacting on the fly in a lot of these games. And the 2 games that got away from us, it was turnovers, and they caused them. And when they have run-out dunks and you can't set your defense, all the impact that we have with our zone, all the things we were doing doesn't matter because now you're playing from behind. It's a team that can overwhelm you, man. It's a unique group. Obviously, when contracts come, these kind of things change where you can't keep all this depth and talent. But to their credit, the way they put the team together, to me, feels like a winning formula. It's not just talent. There's a lot of substance that comes in the game. Guys understand their roles. So, yeah, it was a challenge, obviously. Proud to get to 7. Not very happy about the result today.
You mentioned them playing small, Caruso a lot on Joker Day. What impact do you think that adjustment had, and just Caruso in general, the fingerprints he had on this game? Yeah,
he was great. He fronted him. They brought multiple defenders over. It was a game where we had to make 18 threes. I really mean it. They had everybody in the paint. We created really good shots. Shots didn't fall tonight. Sometimes when Nikola doesn't get an assist or score, the fact that he's got 3 people around him means somebody's open. And we just didn't have a night where guys made shots. And then I thought as shots didn't fall, guys started to turn down shots. And if you do that, you're driving the ball back into an historic defense. That leads to 16 steals, runouts, and a blowout. Alex did a great job. Like I said, I talk about substance. That's what he is. He's a player that the stat sheet doesn't matter. He impacts winning.
David, you kind of made reference to it, but how healthy was Jamal? Because we didn't even think to ask you in pregame, and you mentioned Aaron Gordon's hamstring and then a guy being sick. How effective was he? How healthy was he?
He was sick. There's no excuses. Jamal won't make excuses for it. He's been run down the last couple games, but he played well in Game 6. He found a way. You give them credit. They got into us. They pushed us off our spots. We played too high on the floor. I would try to help him out, trying to knock people off to get him free. I thought he had some good looks in the third quarter, didn't fall. And the same thing for Mike. Mike's going through it. But the bottom line is they were going through it yesterday, too. They were going through it in Game 6. So there's no excuses up here. We had a chance. We came in. We had a great start. We just didn't take advantage of that start. And obviously give OKC a ton of credit. They deserve this opportunity to go play Minnesota. That'll be a hell of a series.
Coach, when it comes to their bench play and shot making, how much of it was just the comfort of being home?
I think it matters. It just seems like over the course of time in the NBA playoffs, that is always the case, especially for young guys that are role players. I don't think it's the case for veteran, teams. But today, we have a lot of veterans. We didn't shoot the ball well. But yeah, you give them a lot of credit. And on the flip side, we're zoning and we're making the ball find people. And those people made enough shots, to really extend the game. And like I said, the turnovers were just a disaster for us. We just didn't take care of it. But yeah, there's a lot to think about right now. But yeah, congratulations, OKC, man. And I mean, like I said, that series is going to be great. I wish we were playing in it. I wish we were playing in Denver on Tuesday night. But best of luck to them. Yep. Thanks, guys.
So off the top, I want to acknowledge Denver. They displayed the mettle of a champion. Obviously, they've won championships, the core guys, and they displayed that in the series. I mean, the way that the run to this point and the run they gave us was impressive. They're a bunch of zombies, and we have the ultimate respect for their team. And we're better now than we were at the beginning of the series, and it's because of them. They pushed us to the limit, and we just have such respect for all the guys in that locker room and their staff and their organization. I just wanted to hit that off the top.
Mark, the swarming, compounding nature of your defense to be disruptive has been kind of a major storyline all season. Would it seem like to you to be able to summon that and have it be such a factor here today?
Yeah, I thought our pressure today was a difference maker in the game, and we accessed that at different times in the series, but today we did it, most consistently for the 48 minutes, and we didn't even play a perfect game on offense, but it was just such a catalyst for us. The pressure, the deflections, the turnovers, and even when they got shots, I thought the pressure and the help really disrupted the rhythm of those shots, and the guys just did a great job of sifting through all the noise of a Game 7 and just focusing on what we need to do to win, and we really executed it.
Mark, we talked yesterday just about, being this late in the series, not having many tricks left, and it coming mostly down to execution. But I don't remember, AC defending Jokic one-on-one as much as he did in any of the games of the series as he did today. Just what sort of led you to stick with that, today, and what you hope to see from it?
Well, the volume of it today was a result of how effective it was. But looking at it was a priority going into today, and he did an unbelievable job, individually. And then, if you're putting a 6'5" guard on a player like that, you need relentless help and relentless pressure on the entry passes, and it all works together. So he had an amazing effort individually, but that truly, when you're going to expose yourself like that, truly is a team defense to make that effective, and the guys, execute the hell out of that.
I couldn't make out what you were saying when that last group checked out right before AJ and those guys, but you put your finger in their chest, and one by one they kind of went to the bench.
Yeah, just acknowledging those guys. I thought they just gave a great effort. They're so easy to bet on. We're not perfect, but they're just so easy to bet on. They're great competitors. They do things the right way. They're professional. They're inside the team. Guys sacrifice. Everybody sacrifices for the team, and you want them to get these sorts of things because they deserve them, and not everybody always gets what they deserve, but this team deserves these types of opportunities, and I was just really happy for those guys.
8-man rotation for the majority of the night. You guys used quick rest for guys. Was that the plan, and then how much did that help you guys in this situation?
It really wasn't the plan. Jay Will and Isaiah Joe were live. There were situations I would have gone to them. I think the effectiveness of what we were doing was the reason why I drifted away from that and cut it to 8. You play every other day in the playoffs. We have a lot of good players that we believe in. And so we're going to need the depth of the team. But obviously in a Game 7, you got to empty the tank, and that's what we did. But those guys done a great job of staying ready. We're going to need everybody as we move forward here against Minnesota.
With that, not many rotations, but guys were giving their all. 15 offensive rebounds tonight, diving on the floor, a lot of deflections. What do you think about the effort despite not having much rest tonight?
It was our best energy game and activity game. They drummed it up, for Game 7, and I just give them a lot of credit. Game 7s are there's not many games you wake up in the morning and that you're going to remember the game for the rest of your life, and Game 7's one of them. And to be able to focus through it's really a distraction. It distracts you from the fact that it's still a basketball game. To be able to focus through that and perform the way these guys did today was very impressive.
Case and Wallace and Caruso both kind of came in late in the first quarter, kind of got you going into the second quarter. Did you know that they would give you that kind of boost, or is it just a normal rotation to get those guys in?
It's normal, but they've made such a habit of that it's to this point, it's surprising when they don't. It's the pressure, the intensity, the competitiveness, and their team guys. They go in there. Denver played a lot of zone in this series. Those guys move the ball. They get into gaps. They're looking to activate their teammates, which is critical against man or zone, but certainly against zone. And so they've done that all season, but they were incredible today.
Your points off turnovers the last couple of games have been either even. I think they were even last game, and you only won by 3. And that's always been a big deal for you. Today it was back to, you have 37-7 back in your favor.
Yeah, 7 games is a long time. You're not going to play optimal basketball over the course of 7 games. It's hard to hold that level when the opponent is doing everything they can to make you completely uncomfortable. And I just thought, this wasn't our cleanest series. I didn't think we played our best. But I do think this series really tested our resolve. We went down 1-0. We went down 2-1. After those 3 games, we had led 123 minutes to their 17, and we were down 2-1. At that point, and it's hard mentally to get yourself to 0 and go win game 4, win game 5, and then same thing today. We're tied 3-3. We had doubled up the amount of minutes that we had led in the series, and yet we were tied 3-3. And these guys just keep coming. It's really incredible fortitude, and I thought it really showed the character of the team and the character of the guys, and we're going to need that resolve, as we move forward here.
Mark, you talked about the noise of a Game 7, and obviously you've got a couple guys that had experienced a Game 7, but with a bunch that largely hadn't. What'd you like most about just the way that they handled just the difference that a Game 7 is? Just
that we were who we are. That's the biggest thing. That's enough with this team. I mean, if we just bet on who we are individually and collectively, we're a really hard team to beat. And I just thought we stayed in character. We got off to a rough start. We didn't panic. We just played the 48, and we tapped into who we are. And that's the thing that I'm most satisfied with. Is I would hate to play a Game 7 like this, an elimination game, and leave anything on the table. You can live with the result, and when you are who you are, and that's what we did today.
Jada really bounced back in the scoring department today. What did you see from him?
Great force, especially early. It was definitely a conscious effort by him to use his speed and his power. And, he was on the gas from the jump tonight. He was incredible. And, you talk about bouncing back. It's like no player in the playoffs in this competitive a series plays great every night. Like Jokic is as good as anybody, obviously. He didn't play great every night in the series. It's hard, and Dub, I think because he's in his 3rd year, takes a little bit more flack for that. But, it's hard to perform in a playoff game, in a 7-game series this competitive every night. But he rises up every time. He did it last year in the Dallas series. Game 6 was his best game after some struggles, and tonight was his best game after some struggles as well.
Concerning Dub, I think he had 12 points in the last 3 or 4 minutes of the second quarter. You were playing pretty well at that point, but that really put the game way ahead. How important was that stretch, the last 3 minutes of the half?
Yeah, it was a critical stretch. I thought the stretch that won us the game was when we went down early. They were making some shots. We were missing some shots. We seemed a little frantic. We seemed like we were just, tiptoeing into the game a little bit from a confidence standpoint. And I thought the maturity of the team to understand the length of the game, it's just like, let's settle into this thing, was a huge thing. Because, we went down 11 or whatever, and if that balloons to 20, it becomes a very, hard game to manage from that point. So I just thought that was the stretch that won it for us, but the separation stretch was that in the second quarter.
Hi, if I can ask 2 questions. One, just what did you make of David Adelman coaching against him in this series? I know it was a lot of adjustments on both sides, and he's obviously doing this on an interim basis.
Yeah, I just told him on the court how much respect I have for him after having competed against him in this series. he's a pretty seasoned guy, to be put in a very, very challenging situation. It's a credit to their players, first and foremost, but a credit to their staff for that type of disruption that late in the season. He was thrust into a very challenging leadership position and handled it very well. And I think what stood out, that wasn't all smooth. They lost some games in the regular season. They lost, they got blown out in one of the games in the Clipper series. They got blown out here in game 2. And that team kept competing and stayed together through all the ups and downs of their experiences, which is, first of all, a testament to their, championship mindset, but also a testament to the relationships that he must have built over a long time with those guys. Like, they really, had his back. And so I was just very, very impressed with him from a distance. I don't know him at all, but I have the utmost respect after having competed against him.
Just a quick follow, totally different subject, but you were with the Blue the last time the Thunder was in the Western Conference Finals. Did you get to be around the team that much during that run? And if so, what did you learn about what comes next here?
Yeah, I was this guy. I was. It's hard to keep a straight face with that guy. I was around the team. This has always been an organization that's had great synergy with those entry-level spots. A lot of the people that work here now went through the Blue, and all of our Blue staff's here now. So, but to start over, basically. Huge shout out to Sam, for his vision for this, to start over and to get back to this type of level. Is incredibly impressive. It's an organizational accomplishment. There's a lot of invisible people behind the scenes that are part of that, and I just want to make sure I acknowledge them. Obviously, we have more opportunities in front of us, but this is a great accomplishment for a lot of people that have been here a long time.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
We got players coming in next, and you also.
Jamal, obviously frustrated with the result. What are some of the things that are going through your head as you think about this game, this series? What could have been, what was?
A lot, to be honest. I thought it was a very competitive series. It was really fun, to be honest, the way all 7 games. We just didn't bring our best tonight. I thought some turnovers, spacing, guys trying to, make the right play with each other, but it was 2 guys trying to do the same thing or, just on top of each other, which, they're such a good defensive team and they pack the paint. We got to allow each other to, allow each other to have space to do whatever the hell we're trying to do or create on offense. So I just thought that compounded. Crowd was into it. And, we just didn't play our best. So it's frustrating. I could go on. But.
Obviously, the very unique season for you guys, with the changes made late in the year. What do you think about the job that Adelman did, given the circumstances and the possibilities of him having the interim title removed?
Yeah, I think he did a great job, considering everything and just how we had to stay together. The different schemes that we came up with, AG battling through everything, Yoke battling through everything, the bench stepping up. I just thought, all in all, I think guys did just staying with it and keeping a positive attitude and believing in what we can do. Played 14 games, and we came up short on the last one. So, like I said, I'm frustrated and everything, but, there's a lot to take away from the last, 6-7 weeks or so. So, just got to keep my head, stay positive, and look forward to the next couple of months of taking some rest and then getting back to it. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll be fine.
What do you think about what AG was able to give you guys today?
He gave us more than I think we all could ask for. I played through a grade 1 calf strain last year, and he played through a grade 2 hamstring. So, a hamstring is no joke. I could see him limping out there, and we went zone a little more just to be able to have him out there. And, we had a lot going on, but his toughness, his mental toughness, to be able to play through that and give us what he did and stick to it, I think it was a lot. It was a lot for him to handle, and, he did a great job. So, shout out to AG for just battling and being present today.
Jamal, 2 things. First, that just from where the season was, is there any pride with what you guys have been able to accomplish from the point you were at where people are losing their jobs to take a team like this to 7, or is it kind of just more the frustration in the moment, I guess?
Yeah, like I just said, a lot to take away from the last 6-7 weeks. we stayed with it. We had to, figure it out, call some audibles. But, like I said, we had a long journey just to get to this point. I'm proud of the belief that we had, the positivity that we had. The guys staying together, guys were more vocal. Even guys that weren't playing, they were more vocal. So a lot of good takeaways, but came up short tonight, and that's the most frustrating part.
And then 2 years removed from the championship, just what is your confidence that this core group can still win another title?
100%. Just came up short tonight. Get back in the gym and get back to it for next year.
Jamal, after obviously a 7-game series with a team that a lot of people consider one of the best teams that have been assembled in recent memory, what can you just say about the outlook of that team and the depth and some of the issues that they might have caused you or you guys as a collective with their depth and everything? Just what is your biggest takeaway about that team across the hall from us?
Young, active. To be honest, playing 7 games against them, I remember just playing AAU. It was like an AAU tournament out there. Everybody's young, athletic, flying around, playing. We're playing half-court trap. Everybody's flying in for rebounds. Fast breaks are going up, back and forth. So that's the most thing I can remind of. It's a young, talented group that has a lot to offer, and I think their best quality is just defensively. How physical are. Obviously they get away with a lot, but it leads into how they play and the identity that they create. So they have a lot of potential for sure.
Jamal, I know you just said you believe in this core, but given that you had a change in the head coach, a change in the GM, is this offseason feel different? Like there might be changes more than in the past where it was pretty easy to say, let's run it back because you're coming off a championship? Is there a thought that there might be more changes this offseason to either the core or this roster as you try to get to a championship?
I just focus on what I can do out there. I look at the shots that I had, the great looks that I had, and how I can help this team win. That's above what my pay grade. I just do what I have to do out there and focus on that. On that, it's a question for another person.
Jamal, can you speak on how difficult it is to get through the grueling 82-game regular season and a postseason while remaining healthy, and how much pride this group takes in playing for each other despite dealing with nagging injuries?
Yeah, everybody was kind of going through something leading up today, but, we had plenty of chances. We fought to get to this point. We believe we could do it. Sometimes it doesn't go your way, and the other team had a better night tonight. Tonight was their night. But we even when people doubted us, we bounced back and showed them what we're capable of. And then when they continued to doubt us, we did it again. You know what I'm saying? So I'm proud of the group, man. I'm proud of what we were able to accomplish, everything we've battled through, everybody individually. So there's lots, like I said, a lot to take away, but we came up short. Thank you, Jamal. Appreciate it.
Okay. Over here to y'all, right, fellas? Congrats on the win, Valencia King, Real Talk Sports. Coach just mentioned Game 7 is a game that you wake up and you're going to remember for the rest of your life. So quick question for y'all. How did y'all wake up? How did y'all go in today's game?
I didn't really go to sleep. So I was just excited. That's all I got. I was excited to play.
I was nervous, to be honest. Just knowing, what's on the line. We've worked so hard the whole 82-game season. We've all worked so hard in the summer, and to know if you don't bring your A game, it could all be over with, all for nothing. And but I think that nervousness motivated me and helped me play today. Helped me give my all on both ends of the floor, and I used it to my advantage.
What we got?
Go ahead, Joel.
Shai, you just mentioned, the feelings leading into this game, the season being on the line, but this is the first Western Conference Finals berth for the team, I think, in 9 years. Could you sense in these past few days and just throughout this game, after the win, just sort of what a win like this means to the building, to the city, to the franchise?
Yeah, it means a lot, specifically for the city. They've been so good all year. They've been behind us through good, through bad. Like it doesn't feel like, it feels like no team in the league has home court advantage like we do, and that's all due to them with the T-shirts, the cheering, the screaming, the chants. They really give us like energy out there, and we've been a better team because of them and having them behind us. And to know that if we didn't bring it tonight, it could be over for them as well wasn't fair, and we wanted to play for them as well.
And Mark was just in here saying that it felt like you guys tiptoed into the game from a confidence standpoint. When did you sort of sense the game break open and that you guys really sort of leaned into the game?
Yeah, I think like the nerves was natural. We obviously didn't shoot. We actually shot horrible to start the game. But I knew like we were getting really good looks, and if we just stuck with it, that like we would loosen up in the ball and find the basket. And it did so. I never was worried by the way we started. We had the right intentions. We had to tighten a little bit up on the defensive end, but once I felt the flow of the game and we had the right intentions and the right energy, I knew it would turn around for us.
Dub, it seemed like the series was a battle all series long about who could score in the paint better, who could carve up the other team's defense. You guys had 64 points in the paint today. Did you feel like that was a product of better execution against their zone, or playing off defense? What did you feel out there?
Kind of to Tu's point, just we had a very good progression just throughout the series of like getting shots that we wanted. Sometimes they fall, sometimes they don't, but I think defensively we were really good, and we were able to get out in transition, and that's given us layups, and I think that's where a lot of the points in the paint come from. And then that gives you flow, obviously, going into half-court offense. And I think that's kind of where we got our confidence from, and just trusting each other, trusting our process.
For Shai and Dub, during the offseason, you guys bring in AC, and obviously he bought into the culture of this team defensively. But to see him have that kind of impact in the Game 7, can you speak to that?
Yeah, he's a player who rises to the occasion. He's a player that understands the moment and like controls what he can control, and he does that at a very high level. Like nobody does that at a higher level than him that I've ever played with. Like he is always in the moment. He's always figuring out how to change the game and better the team. And it doesn't matter if it's a Tuesday in February in New Orleans or if it's a Game 7 tonight. Like he's giving his 100% attention, energy. And I think that's what's made him the NBA player he's become. And to have a guy like that on your team, it's special. It raises the level of everybody else when you see him just leading like that in that example. He's obviously a big reason why we're as good as we are as a basketball team.
Dub, did you really not sleep at all?
I mean, I slept a little bit, but yeah. I was just excited to play. Like you never know how many Game 7s you're gonna get, and it's like an opportunity to be great. So I was just more excited about playing and getting the opportunity to. What was that?
It's tripping. I think it's.
I thought it was my.
There's been some leaks in. Yeah, yeah.
Looks like
leaks. Yeah. Yeah, but I was like, I think I was probably just like hyped up to play, and excited. That's really it. Those nights it's hard to like, kind of like go to sleep.
And Shai asked you after Game 6 kind of how you thought Dub would respond tonight. How do you think he played?
Terrible. Nah, he was amazing. Dub was a big reason for our like little stretch of the lead in the second quarter. Gave us momentum. But I said this out there after the game, like his growth as a basketball player has been obviously, like you've seen it all year, but his growth mentally has been more impressive to me. He wouldn't have played the way he played today last year, and I know that 100%. And to see him take that step forward is it's a really proud moment for me. Just knowing like what he goes through on a day-to-day basis, knowing where he comes from, like that's really my brother. And to see him get better in those areas is special. It's fun, and it makes this whole experience a little bit like more special. But yeah, Dub. Other than that, Dub's like a great basketball player, and he brought his A game when we needed the most, and that's what makes you the upper echelon of this league, and the sky's the limit for Dub, as we all know.
Hope you guys can comment on just the points off turnovers return. The last couple of games, you really hadn't had that big advantage, but tonight, it's kind of like a beating frenzy. Got a lot of easy buckets tonight.
Yeah, that's when we're at our best. Starts defensively, and then we're able to play in space with the athletes and the speed that we have. But it starts defensively, and once we brought that tonight, we were able to stretch the lead up.
You want me to answer that too? Oh, yeah. Just that's how we play. I think I've said this earlier this year too, just like on like different things. Like our defense is not like predicated on us stealing the ball. You know what I mean? But it's just more about the approach that we have, like how competitive and how right we can be, and like how many rotations we can make. You know what I mean? Like we're like trying to be as aggressive as possible and cover up for each other. And then if that results in a turnover, great. But we're just trying to like contest every shot, rebound every time, like. And you just kind of stack within our defensive like possessions, and then that's what makes us good.
This is a question for both you guys. Obviously, a lot of excitement, nerves going into this game. Did you draw on anything? Did you reach out to anyone? Did anybody give you advice on how to approach a game like this?
No, I turned my phone off, honestly.
Okay.
I just wanted to, like, as best as I could, block out all the noise. Just, like, enjoy the time. We had 2 days off for the first time in a little bit. Enjoy the time with my family. Like, I knew this moment was coming, and the nerves sat in my stomach for the 2 days, but I tried to, like, just think about it as least possible as I could. And I think I did a pretty good job handling that. Came out ready to play today.
When you say turn it off, you mean like do not disturb, and like maybe your mom can get through, or like
Yeah, no social media, basically, and then if you have my number, you can have my number and text me. So yeah.
Jalen, I don't know if you can take the 20,000-foot view this close to the end of a Game 7, but just what you guys have come through to now get to this point to go to the finals. What are you proudest of just with where you guys are in this moment?
I think exactly that. Like we are where our feet are. Like being present in the moment, not letting like too many outside stuff like control what we're doing in the game. And I think that was most impressive with everybody. Like no matter what was going on, like we stuck together. And we were just kind of like uncommon in that way. Like we even had like team dinner like after a loss. I think that just shows like how connected we've been, and we've been doing that the whole time. So we're just with each other regardless of what happens. I think that's what makes us a good team.
Shai, as you think about now where you guys are headed, only 4 teams left in these playoffs. You're the top seed, and really some of those other top seeds have gone. What does this sort of set up for you in your mind?
Nothing at all. We play a really good team in the Timberwolves, and we got to try to beat them 4 times before they beat us 4 times. And that's all I'm worried about, all our team is worried about. Like Dub just said, just trying to be where our feet are in the moment and see what's in front of us and try to attack it and come out on the right end of it. I think that's why we've gotten this far in the season, and we're going to continue to do so.
Dub, you guys took your first lead, 27-26. It was your lay that did it, and you got a whistle, and the crowd just goes crazy. It's one of the bigger pops of the night. Just kind of what was going through your head after the struggles you've had with this crowd just going crazy for you.
Did I get fouled?
Yeah, he missed the free throw.
Honestly, it'd be so loud in there. It's really cool to have those moments. I always try and like relish those in the game, and it's just really fun to play in there. So we have a very good fan base.
And then Daniel.
For both of you guys, Coach talked about just the magnitude of this game before you guys came in here, talking about how he woke up this morning knowing that he'll always remember because it's a Game 7. How much of that halftime break played a part in the sense of you guys coming out and putting together that tremendous third quarter? I mean, just to take that kind of like a deep breath. It's the only time you really kind of get that brief time to all be together for that little moment. Did you think that played a part, or just things come together just in that third quarter organically?
We honestly had I think besides Game 2, we haven't been really good coming out of halftime this series. And that was on the top of everyone's mind at halftime. We wanted to make sure that we got out to a good start. We obviously built a pretty good lead. I think it was like 14 going into halftime, but the type of team they are, we've seen it all series. 14 is never enough. And we knew that, and we wanted to come out and throw the first punch, we call it, and I think we did a good job of that tonight.
Yeah.
Yes, Shai, Mark and Caruso at different points in the series talked about how you guys were looking forward to playing the Nuggets because of how good of a team you got and how much respect you had for them. What are some of the things that you learned about this team, you guys' team, now that now that the series is over?
Learned about us?
Yeah.
Nothing I didn't already know, but like we can win no matter the environment, no matter the type of game. It could be ugly, it could be pretty, it could be high scoring, it could be low scoring, it could be a lot of free throws, it could be no free throws. Like no matter what it is, we can find a way to win, and I think that's very important this time of year. But yeah, like I said, I already knew that about us, and we have to keep implying that going forward.
What else we got? We'll do two more. We've got Michael, actually three more. Then you.
Dub, going back to plus minus, we have Caruso and Kaysen coming off the bench. They have the two highest plus minus off the bench in Game 7 history. These past three games, what have they meant to you guys in sort of just closing out this series?
They've been great. They've hit big shots. They've done a lot of little stuff that people won't know about, just as far as like being in the right coverage, pursuing, playing good defense. Like they've just been really, really solid. AC switched on to Jokic for a lot of that game too, so it's like for them to like answer that task and be willing to kind of do whatever speaks to what kind of players they are, and that's why they're here.
Mark said that this was your guys' best game on defense activity-wise. What do you guys think led to that?
Do or die.
Yeah, sense of urgency. We knew that if we didn't, like I said, bring our A game on the defensive end of the floor, that our season could be over, and nobody in the locker room was ready for that. We, above all, wanted to control the controllables, and defense is one of those things, being active, communicating, helping each other. You can't always control if the ball goes in on the other end of the floor, but defense you can always control, and we knew that. And that's why we were as active as we were tonight. All right,
Shai, you and Nikhil have played against each other a lot now, but just from a personal standpoint, what's it going to be like matching up with him in a conference finals?
Yeah, it'll be very fun. It's like it's hard to even explain. Like, if you know how close we are, he's literally like my second brother. He's been through every stage of life with me, picking up a basketball to going to prep school to making the NBA. Like, we've gone through every situation together. For both of us to be where we are is special. To compete against each other is even more special. But I am trying to take his head off for sure.
Thanks.
Completely.
Thanks, guys.
Joker, I know it just happened. You're still processing, but what are some of your early takeaways from this game and this series as a whole for you guys?
I mean, this game was basically similar to second game. We turned the ball over. We didn't make enough shots. They were aggressive. They were running in transition. They were attacking us back. They were playing on our heels. They were attacking the offensive glass. They were making shots. Two same officials as the second game. So it's kind of similar to the second game.
Nikola, do you leave this series feeling like you guys are still close to being able to win another championship, or what are your thoughts after 2 Game 7s? And I know you dealt with health issues, not you, but Aaron and Michael. Do you feel like this team could still win a championship as it's put together now?
I mean, we didn't, so obviously we can't. If we could, we will win it. So I don't believe in those if stuff. So. We had the opportunity. We didn't win it. So, I think we can't.
Your impressions and your appreciation for what Aaron Gordon did today to get on the court for you guys.
Yes. I mean, definitely playing with that injury. I mean, I told him to not play. You can injure yourself even worse. You can see that he was struggling a little bit, hard to move and this and that. So, but he's a lion. He's a lion. He went out there and fight with us, and we can just appreciate that.
Nikola, what can you coming into this series? Obviously, a big storyline, and it was, the matchup between you and, SGA. And, you guys being two of the top MVP candidates this year. After a 7-game series with him, what would you just say about the respect you might have earned from him, or just your approach and, what you think about, Shai and the season that he's had,
it's amazing. We played, so how many? 4 and 7 games, so 11 times we played this season. Actually, I think did we play preseason too one time? So we played like a lot of times, we saw him a lot of times, and he's a special player, his shot selection, his shots capability of making his own shot separation, playing in his rhythm, defensively he was like always stealing the balls, always blocking shots, he's like a little I don't know how to say, like a little punter out there. He was always there, so he's a special player.
Obviously, David Adelman was put in a very unique situation with a few games left in the season. What do you think about the job that he did since moving over to head coach, and the potential for him to be in that role on a permanent basis?
It's really, like you said, it's a tough spot to be. You have he had three games to change something, and I think he changed the energy. I think the guys were woken up a little bit. The guys had more energy. He made us believe in something, and we played good. We played a 7-game series with probably the best team in NBA, and we had opportunity, we had chances. So I think he did a really good job.
And as far as the future goes for him, your
I'm not the guy to add. It's above my pay grade.
Nikola, the Thunder, they tried to make a point to wear you guys down with their depth throughout this series. You guys were obviously playing a shorter rotation for most of it. Maybe this is above your pay grade too, but as far as depth, what do you sort of think this team needs most going forward?
Like you said, it's about my. But yes, we definitely need probably. I think we played so long for such a way, and it's hard for the guys to step up and especially against two really good teams, Clippers and OKC. We cannot ask for somebody who didn't play maybe 20, 30 games to jump in and be good and expect him to be good. But Julian step up, he was good. Peyton, he was in a rotation, but he had some good minutes too. So definitely seems like the teams that has a longer rotation, the longer bench, it's the one who are winning. Indiana, what's the name? OKC. So Minnesota.
Nikola, on the flip side of that, you talk about OKC's depth and how deep they are, and obviously they're one of the historic defenses that we've seen in recent memory. Going against them in a 7-game series, how would you say now you assess them, and before the series, and what has been your biggest takeaway against going against the deep group of guys like that can defend?
It's versatility. It's they can put a lot of guys on a lot of good defenders and a lot of good offensive players, and still have. They're so aggressive, they're so handsy. Even when you go by them, Chet or Isaiah is there. Their attacking passing lane is really good. They're into the ball. I like to say their hand is always on the ball, always follow the ball, and it's really hard to make a straight pass. It's even when you pass the ball, it's not on the shooting pocket, and maybe that's why the reason it's they're always contesting the shots, they always boxing out. They're well taught, they're well coached team, and that's why they're doing this what they're doing.
Nikola, what are you most proud of in terms of what this team was able to accomplish this season, and then what are you most proud of individually that you were able to accomplish?
As a team, I think it was probably playoffs. I think everybody, even in the first round, they thought the Clippers going to beat us, and we found a way to win. Like I said, we always find a way. Except tonight, we found a way to win a game. We found a way to win a series, and today maybe was not the case. But in season, in global, I think that was the maybe description of this team. We always find a way, and that's why I'm proud of it. Individually, I don't know. It was a good season. It was I stayed healthy. I'm really thankful for that. I put a lot of effort in it, so I'm thankful. But I know like what's my routine and what I need to do. So I trust what I'm doing, and it seems it's working well for me.
How will this offseason be different for you? Playing in the Olympics clearly didn't bother you too much in terms of a production standpoint this season. How will this offseason be different?
I think Olympics make me even better. Playing with a country, playing with different rules, but it's not really different. Playing with different players, I think it made me even better. I think I need to decide. There is a Eurobasket, the European Championship. I need to decide that. I need to talk with the coaches and with some of the main players, let's say like that. And we will see. But from now, like next couple of days, there's going to be a lot of beer probably.
Great, thank you, Nicole.
Chet, you were able to kind of have that position a lot this series, including tonight, of being that rim help on the backside. What was it like watching AC and guys fly in around Jokic to try to be disruptive today?
Damn. That's why the suit was what? It's only that cheap. Damn. It's great. Credit to them. They're expending a lot of energy doing that, making things tough on the other team. But when you're able to just kind of throw different guys at other teams' number ones and number twos and make them really have to work for everything, it's tiring for us to be doing it, but it's more tiring on them to be trying to battle against it. So credit to them making everything tough. It wasn't just tough on Jokic to get open. It was tough on whoever was trying to pass to him too. We were pressuring. So credit to all those dudes. And then I just have to make sure that they know I have their back. If they get beat on anything, and that's what kind of gives us the ability to pressure up.
Alex, you talked earlier this series about how you were excited to play the Nuggets because they were going to make you a better team. How do you feel like you guys are better today than you were in Game 1?
Yeah, I think just our mental fortitude, even tonight we came out and, they scored kind of 4 relatively easy baskets and we missed shots early. Even then, I think, halfway through the first, we're down 10 or 11. But the whole time, I'm trying to tell the guys it's a long game, and I think they knew that at that point. And I think we understand what we're capable of when we, play at our best. So just the ability to get to that level, that elite level of defense, moving the ball, shot making, offensive rebounding, the stuff that we do great. I think, we're figuring out how to get to that quickly and stay there for a long time.
Actually, you've mentioned this a bunch this year, but you've said, the versions of yourself, versions of this team, maybe like tonight, but when you play like tonight, you could be the best team in the world. I just wonder, from what you saw tonight, is this close to the vision you've had year-round, and I guess what does that take to sort of tap into in a Game 7?
Yeah, when we play how we did tonight, and it wasn't perfect, but we had, a large majority of the game where we were kind of in control as far as assignments, our physicality, our pressure on the ball, finishing possessions, getting out in transition, sharing the ball. That's the stuff. Like, we have so much talent on the team. When we do those things, that just kind of doubles down on how special we can be. And you see it with a couple games this postseason where we're winning games by large margins because we're just trying to be ruthless and get to that. And part of that in Game 7 is Mark did a good job of telling us, just like, you don't have to do anything special. You just have to be who you are. We won 60-something games for a reason. We're in the second round in Game 7 for a reason. We're a good team. Everybody on this team does whatever they do really well. Just do that. And I thought we did a good job of that tonight.
And so when Mark tells you that you're going to be defending Jokic as often as you are tonight, what do you think, and sort of what does that take to do that effectively?
It's a lot of hard work. Obviously, he's a phenomenal player. His resume speaks for itself, but he's a difficult matchup because he just does so many different things to get others involved and to influence the game. So for me, it's just about competing. Like, there's nothing to save it for. It's Game 7, right? So you either are going to the next round or your summer started. So for me, it was just about being relentless with my energy, the effort to make it tough on him. And obviously the guys around me did a good job of helping and swarming that because I'm not doing that on my own. But just making stuff tough on him, understanding how the game was going to be called, understanding the flow of the game, where you could be physical, where you can't, and just trying to make him work for stuff.
This is for AC. Just how important has this process been of you obviously being embraced in Oklahoma City and the team culture and them also allowing you to be the kind of player you are defensively?
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty fluid just because I'm allowed to just be myself. And, that's kind of where I thrive, is just allowed to go out there and play my game, which has got me to this point and is the reason that I think they made the trade for me last summer. Was they recognized the stuff that I was good at and the things that helped elevate the players around me and the team, and they encouraged me to do that. And obviously the guys on the team are great people, great teammates. It makes it really easy because they have a lot of belief and trust in me too.
Over to your right, AC. You kind of going off of that with the veteran leadership. When you think about your rookie season up until now, how do you feel like your voice has expanded as a player?
A lot of that is just learning and growing and observing stuff around me. I've been fortunate enough to play with Hall of Famers, been coached by Hall of Famers. The elite of the elite, mental, vocal, in between the lines of the game kind of stuff. And I've just been stealing stuff from other people and honing it and working on it. And now trying to pass it on to the rest of the guys, and I think that they've done a good job of that. I think our communication level, our sense of urgency, our ability to dissect and move forward is a lot better than it was, I think, when I first got here. And that's the key, is using that stuff that I've learned from other people and passing it on to the others and elevating the team.
This is a question just for both you guys. When Shai and Dub were in here, they said that both of them said, Dub said he didn't really sleep that much. He was excited to play. Shai said he was nervous before this game. Like, what did both of you feel before going into this Game 7, and how'd you get through that initial nerves in the first quarter?
Let me go first. Yeah, I mean, I think, if you don't feel anything leading up to it, you're probably like a serial killer. You need to be checked out. I was a little anxious, but not in a sense of winning or losing, but in a sense of like I was ready to play and I was ready to get to the game. Like, there was nothing else to do. Like, we played each other 6 times. We knew what they were going to do. They knew what we were going to do. It's about going out there and competing and playing. So, no, I got a full 9.5 hours last night. I slept really good, woke up, watched some of the PGA Championship, and was just ready to get to the game and play because we had been off for 2 days.
Yeah, same here. I got my sleep last night. Also, it just kind of understood what's on the line, and there was a lot of excitement. I'd say a little bit of angst, just kind of the whole process of leading up to play. It takes a while. You get here 3.5, 4 hours before the game. So just kind of tried to do everything as I would for any other game, prep the same way, but also understand what's on the line. So like AC said earlier, not leave anything in the tank, because there's no point in saving it for summer. So just tried to go out there, do everything I could, and leave it all out there. And, I knew every other guy who touched the floor tonight was going to do the same. So I feel like I've played enough games now where I kind of know what to expect now, and a lot of the pregame jitters or whatever are kind of I'm like outgrowing them, I guess.
Both guys, all series long, everybody's been waiting for the Nuggets to wear down, and obviously they held it together pretty well. But could you sense at any point during this game, maybe the run at the end of the second quarter, when maybe you started to sense they were getting a little fatigued?
I wouldn't say until they pulled their guys. I wasn't really trying to sense that. I was more just kind of focused on, like, we can't let up even an ounce. You know, we just got to run through the finish line on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are, you know, their leaders are elite competitors, so like the rest of the team follows, and they always have that mindset. And I just think talk about wearing out through the series, but I think that, you know, our pressure and our energy, you know, maybe not as much through the series, but through the games that we won was the difference. You know, the games that we ended up winning were games that we had, you know, high intensity, full throttle pressure, finishing possessions, physicality on defense, and I think we did a good job of that tonight.
Chet, as someone who's spent a lot of time guarding Jokic, I just want to get your perspective and evaluation of what AC was able to do this series and especially today.
Yeah, obviously extremely impressive. He's somebody who's kind of been through the ringer, and he's seen every type of player that there is out there, and you played against him in the playoffs before too, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's been there. He's seen it. He knows what type of player Jokic is, and you know, he did a great job of kind of playing to his advantages. That's what he does. No matter who he's guarding, he knows what his advantages are, and then he kind of plays to that. So, you know, he was scrappy. He was using his speed and his pace to kind of keep Jokic kind of from feeling comfortable and knowing where he was and stuff. So credit to him. You know, he's a game changer. You know, without him, you know, the game looks completely different.
Chet, you have a chance now to play meaningful basketball in your hometown. What would that moment be like for you?
Man, it's amazing. You know, growing up, Minnesota was never in the playoffs, so you know, I never really that atmosphere was never there in the city. You know, so I'm sure it's insane right now. But it'll be great to be able to play. Anytime I go home and play, it's great to be able to play in front of friends, family, old coaches, old teammates. You know, I never take it for granted, and it's definitely kind of full circle. I was just on NBA TV before this, and they asked me about it, and, you know, I told them my first game was supposed to be in Minnesota, but then I got hurt, so, you know, it kind of makes it feel all worth it, you know, grinding back to it, and now we're here, so it's going to be a challenge. They're a good team, but we're looking forward to it.
Alex, lots been made that you're the old guy on the team, but not once but twice you went up there and punched it down. One time cocking it back two-handed. Just, I mean, was it the adrenaline of the crowd? Like, what was the necessity of getting there and throwing it down like that?
Left on those knees.
Yeah, no, I just saved those for the games that matter. I wasted a couple earlier in the year, and I had to remind myself, like, game 45, 50, when I was getting a little tired. I was like, all right, we save them for when they matter.
And then, Chet, whenever you see Alex Caruso getting up there and doing that stuff, what does that do with the rest of the team when you see,
honestly,
quote-unquote, the old man?
sometimes I get scared because there was a couple times in the season where he kind of blew a tire on the way up and kind of just shoots a layup without even leaving the ground. So, you know, I'm always hoping for the best, and, you know, tonight we saw the best, so credit to him.
Keep him up.
Chet, you introduced Shai as the MVP in the post-game interview. I know the league has sort of dragged its feet with announcing the award, but sort of how
they announced it.
They have not announced it. No. How gratifying maybe is it for him to have this sort of series against the other guy?
I mean, the type of guy that Shai is, you know, he was more worried about winning the series and doing it with the team. You know, he enjoys playing with us. We enjoy playing with him. And, you know, he's not somebody who really gets wrapped up in the stuff that's not about winning, you know, the narratives and all that. You know, if you go out there and do what you need to do to win the game, all that stuff, take care of yourself. And, you know, I can't speak for him or where his mind was at on that, but, you know, that's what I saw from him and how he approached things. So credit to him for, you know, really sticking in there with us and, you know, being about all the right things throughout this.
Anybody else? Okay, last one.
It's been a while since you played in this kind of atmosphere. Well, how much fun is this when people start? It's one thing for your teammates to appreciate, but the fans appreciate the work you're doing on the floor.
Yeah, I love this place, man. They yell. I told people after Game 5 here, I think that's the loudest basketball arena I've ever been in. That moment after we hit the second three and then get the defensive rebound, go up 6, and Shai gets fouled, and then this place was like deafening how loud it was. And I think it's just a testament to how much the community cares. How much this city cares about basketball and this team. And I think it's reciprocated. Like we play with a ton of energy and excuse me. We play with a ton of energy and a ton of effort and leave it all out there. And I think that they're excited to do their part and cheer us on. And, that's the biggest thing I think in sports is like fans want to see effort. They want to see you play with energy. They want to see you play hard and compete. And I think that this team embodies that. And I think that that's easy to get behind. And they do a great job of supporting us. It's been a lot of fun to see in the playoffs, yeah.
Shout out to our fans.
Shout out.
Thanks, guys. Look out for.
Aaron, can you just take us through what the last 48 hours were like for you in terms of deciding if you would play, when you would play, what the rehab process was like, all of that?
Well, I was pretty sure I was going to play. It's just been recovery, basically. 36 hours, 48 hours of recovery. Everything that I could possibly do. Hot, cold, contrast, massage, hyperbaric, everything that I could possibly do. So just so I could be out there and fight for my team.
How much did you feel it when you were out there fighting for your team?
Not much. I just wish I would have played better.
Aaron, it's early because it's just ended, but how do you look at this run and the idea that you got a coaching change, the GM with 3 games left, you were underdogs against the Clippers and win in 7 and take what most people think is the best team in the league to 7. So is it disappointment or is it, some pride over how you guys were able to kind of recover from the way the season ended?
Obviously, there's mixed emotions there, but I'm proud of my guys. I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of our organization. And of our squad. I think we fought very hard, gave ourselves a chance to beat the number 1 seed. I'm proud of us.
Aaron, kind of building on that, where's just the confidence that this core kind of is currently constructed can achieve what you guys are out to achieve the next couple of years?
Absolutely. Confidence doesn't waver. A couple of plays here or there could have changed the series. Confidence doesn't waver. I have full confidence in everybody in that locker room that we can do what we need to do and get it done.
Aaron, what would you say, obviously facing off against a 7-game series with a team like that, historically one of the best defenses that we've seen in recent memory, what would you say has been your biggest takeaway, playing against them and some of the things that they do that kind of make things, tough to navigate through?
They got a squad. Very interchangeable. They got a lot of pesky defenders. And they're well coached.
Aaron, you played for Coach Adelman for the last 17 games. What are your impressions and how did you like playing for him?
Yeah, I love DA. I hope he's here next year. I hope he's our coach. I hope he gets an entire training camp and a whole off season and a whole training camp to figure out his philosophy. DA in Orlando, we have DA here. DA's great. He was excellent for us, and I hope that he's here next year.
Aaron, what's I don't want to say changes, but what do you guys need to do in order to get back to the top of the mountain?
Well, I think in this game specifically, personally, I think I was more focused on the refs than I was on the actual game. And so I think just narrowing our focus to what needs to be done and what needs to be accomplished. Health is a lot, I would really, really appreciate it if there were a couple of days in between games in the playoffs instead of every other day. Regardless if you go 7 games. I understand if you do your work early and you get first seed, then you can have some time off. But I think the days in between games, not just off day and a travel day, but a travel day and a recovery day, just two days, I think the product of the game would be a lot better. I think there'd be just a better product on the floor, just to give all these professional athletes just one more day of rest, and you would see a higher level of basketball. Probably less blowouts.
Aaron, why'd you say yes? Like, what was the determining factor, and what did you fight through today?
Oh, I never said no. There was never a doubt in my mind that I wasn't going to play today. The only thing that made me doubt playing was the MRI. The MRI told me something worse than what I was feeling.
And I know you and Michael are close. How have you guys leaned on each other this season? And obviously he's dealt with a lot of he could use those extra days as well.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. I think everybody could. I mean, you saw it around the league, like Steph with the hamstring. You know what I mean? JT, man, big respect to Jason Tatum, man. I hope he gets better quick. I mean, there's guys like Dame. There's guys all around the league that are just like, suffering just like fatigue-based injuries because the games are so closely stacked together. And yeah, it would just be nice for just 1 or 2 more rest days throughout the offseason or throughout the postseason, just so we can come back fresh and compete. Because a lot of the times, it's the team that's most healthy, So it's not even the best team. It's the team that's most healthy. And I think what I try to talk to MPJ about is just rest your mind, rest your body, relax, and then when it's time to get back to training, refocus and narrow your focus and understand what the goal is.
When you saw the MRI, how much concern did you have about making the injury worse and knowing what that might mean?
Obviously, I knew the risks. Unfortunately, injuries are part of the game, so I knew the risks. But I wanted to be out there for my team.
And then, there were times like the transition, obviously looked like you just couldn't get in that gear that you usually can.
Yeah.
And, how did you feel like you were limited today?
I couldn't sprint. That was tough. I was trying to play a real old man game. Anytime I tried to sprint, it was going to just probably be a lot worse. I gave them all.
You were in the room with the fellows. You went through the battles with them all year long. Do you feel like this group got stale before the change? And what did you find in the last month that you'll cherish or you can use going forward as a group?
I mean, the game is great. Obviously, playing is amazing. But really what makes it special is just being around a high-character group of people and the interactions and the memories that you make and share with a great group of guys. The staleness, I'm not entirely sure. It's still fresh. I haven't been able to digest kind of the totality of the season, but just give me a couple of days and maybe I'll be able to answer that. But it's a great group of guys. I'm excited for the future of this organization.
Aaron, by playing today, were you basically playing to get the team through the next round, knowing would you have been able to play in the next round? Or was this kind of a one-off to get through this and say, you know what, that was probably it because you're going to have to rest it?
That's probably it, at least for 2 or 3 games into the next round. So I was saying maybe I can get through this one and then rest a little bit and come back later in the next series. Okay.
With everything that you went through last summer leading up to this season, and the improvements that you made on the floor, what are you most proud of that you did this season? And as the team, too, what are you most proud of the team with?
I guess just being able to compete for the first time without my brother by my side. I know he was with me, and I know he's staying with me, but I think just even coming out here and just competing is something in its own right. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.